What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another edition of 27 and Q alongside the two-time Super Bowl champ from the New York Football Giants, running back number 27, Brandon Jacobs. I'm Rich Quinones. We appreciate everyone always keeping us locked in. Follow us on Twitter, YouTube. We're working on a couple different things. And oh my goodness, do not look now, but the your football Giants start off a season, with a win on the road, mind you. First time they've done it since 2016. Dramatic win over the Titans. You called it last week on this show. You loved them with the money line. You loved them outright. You said Saquon was going to go off. They were going to bottle up D. Henry. It's exactly what they did. How are you, my friend?
I am doing absolutely phenomenal, Rich, after this weekend's college football games, high school football games,
Yes.
and NFL games. The Giants, I mean, they played lights out on defense. I knew they would. I've been watching that same defense play all preseason. I watched that same defense shut our offense down in training camp. I watched that same defense. A lot of those players, they gel and they're playing together. They had a great opportunity to get out, go 1-0 against a really good football team who went really deep in the playoffs last year, had everything riding on it. Great running back, led the league in rushing a couple of years ago, and would have led it again last year if he wouldn't have got hurt.
Right.
So, I mean, the Giants look awesome. I mean, Daniel Jones, quarterback rating was pretty good, 17 for 21, 188 yards. I mean, yards isn't crazy. You know, we had a pick. We ran the ball well. I mean, the Giants played one hell of a football game on Sunday.
I thought to go on the road against the number one seed from last year, and people want to call them a fraud. I don't care. They're 12-5, man. They still have arguably the best back in the NFL. In Derrick Henry, and the defense played well. No Ojulari, no Thibodeau as well. You know, we forget about that. I thought the offensive line was exceptional. Saquon, man, I mean, maybe it's on me. Maybe I wrote the kid off. He exploded. I think it was 18 for $164, another 30. You know, the touchdown. They convert. You're thinking right now. You and I were texting each other back and forth during the game. When they got that touchdown, I was thinking out loud, just go for two, man. Like, you want to set the tone and the culture. If you're Brian Daboll, go for two. And he didn't even hesitate. I mean, as a player, you got to love that aggressive.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you always tend to support your coach when he has a set of balls that big.
Exactly.
I mean, his balls is hanging to the floor, man. And I love it. That's the type of coach we need, though.
Yeah,
we need something like that. Like, he's today's player coach.
Yeah.
You know, he gets out, dance with them, he have fun. You know, he does everything that he needs to do, and he get the guys to buy in. However he does that, he's doing it. Keep doing it. I love what I'm seeing. I love what's going on. He went for it with no hesitation, and he got the ball in the hands of the right man. In the hands of the right man, and he finished the job as he did the whole game. Ran the ball tremendously well. I mean, I'm just happy. I'm just happy to pick and shit. Right now, Rich.
Yeah, listen, you watch that game unfold and you take the W. Home opener against Carolina, a team that, let's be honest, the Giants are favorite at home, mind you, which, again, that's kind of a little bit of a surprise. Home opener should be rocking. And then all of a sudden you got Dallas, right? They turn around Dallas with a banged up Prescott, which we'll get into. I'm not going to sit there and say 3-0, 2-1, definitely realistic, but you call 12 wins, 1 down, 11 to go.
I think the 12 wins is definitely going to come. We got a good Carolina team that's coming in here on the Sunday night.
Sunday afternoon, yeah.
Sunday afternoon. I mean, they're playing, well. They're a bunch of professional football players, for crying out loud. They better be ready to play, and so is the Giants. I'm looking at us to take that one. I got the Giants by 14 against Carolina.
Already?
Oh, absolutely.
I was going to wait for Wednesday's show and the predict. All right, it comes out already.
Giants. I got the Giants by 14. Saquon with another big day. Daniel Jones with a big day in the air. Get Tony a little bit more involved. He was kind of missing out of the game as we originally was talking, during the game. I mean, I didn't see him until the trick play they had. And I'm not sure if it was a disciplinary reason or whatever the case was, but we did not see Tony for the first half.
That's a great point, right? I mean, Shep had the long touchdown reception. Tony, first time he touches the ball, 19 yards, and then you saw that kind of reverse. And by the way, smart of the player not to just chuck it up, right? And then he gains 4 yards. They got to run the football, man. I think the Giants this year offensively, they're going to be predicated on the legs and the will of number 26. Get that line moving. You look around the NFL, and we'll talk a lot more about the Giants tomorrow, but you look around the NFL and week one, I mean, first of all, don't tell me anymore about every kick in the NFL is guaranteed. It's not. We'll get into last night's debacle in a moment, but the Eagles had I'll call it a tough win against a gritty Lions team on the road. That defense still has question marks, but man, you talk about the Titans for a second, missing A.J. Brown, who's now with the Philadelphia Eagles, and Jalen Hurts. He had a monster game. Washington, Carson Wentz. I like Jacksonville to pull up the upset, but Washington had to win. And then Dallas, the offense goes south. You get a banged up Prescott, and you put up 3 against Tampa Bay. So after 1 week, the NFC East, if you're a Giant fan, you're like, hey, got the W, and the division's a little wide open right now.
Absolutely. And just like I knew it was, just from watching the preseason, nobody stood out crazy to me this preseason out of the NFC East, and I knew it would be that way. I mean, outside of Philadelphia, I don't really see anybody to stop us from achieving that NFC championship. The NFC's championship. I mean, I get a Commanders credit. We're gonna kick Dallas ass. They're down. No Dak Prescott, but shit, to be honest with you, Rich, I wish he played. I wish he's healthy, and I wish he's out there. That's one game. Like I said, my weekend of football was great. All of my schools, the schools that everybody I have anything to do with, they all won, and the damn Cowboys lost. It's a perfect weekend for Mr. Jacobs.
So as we go through the landscape of week one, which started Bills all over the Rams, that was one of our picks. By the way, we did exceptional in our picks. Your Saints, I saw you already starting to jump off the Winston wagon, and then all of a sudden, what does he throw for 200 yards, 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter? Again, maybe you should watch before you hit send.
Yeah, I guess so, right? I'm sitting there and I'm looking at the first couple of series. He's throwing the ball in the dirt. He's scrambling, throwing the ball across his body. I mean, getting intentional groundings. I'm like, come on, man. Like, I like the Saints are my team. I'm a Giants first and Saints second. I'm from Louisiana. I'm always going to support the Saints. But Jameis, I kind of jumped off the bridge a little bit too soon on him, and he ended up redeeming himself. Now I want to see how he come back next week.
Yeah, 49ers. I mean, that's another game we talked about. Your guy Trey Lance struggled. If you want to throw in the weather, and whatnot, the Bears get the win. How about Tua down there in Miami? 23-33, 271 touchdown, thumping New England, right? Which is a rarity. So all of a sudden the critics are kind of silenced down there in Miami.
I'm telling you, that Miami Dolphins football team, Rich, they have weapons in all the right places. If I'm the Dolphins, I'm putting everything on Tua. He's an athletic quarterback. He got a great arm. He's just a little in there, right? But he finds a way to get the job done. And I like Miami and Buffalo, to be honest with out of that division.
Yeah, I mean, they've criticized Tua, right, with his decision making, but the moxie is there. We've seen it, and he's got to just get in the rhythm, the flow of the offense. And you're right. I mean, if the throws are there, you got to make them. Baltimore just smacked the Jets. I mean, the Jets are so bad. Robert Sarver talking about I'm hanging on to the receipts for the media and the critics. Come on, man. What are you talking about? I'll tell you right now, the Jets go 4-13 this year because Flacco can't play anymore. He can't. You might as well start the kid Mike White while you're waiting for Wilson. Saleh goes 4-13. He's done. He's out of a job.
Absolutely. In New York, you're definitely out of a job. They want your head, you early.
Yes.
So you got to get it together over there, Gang Green. Get it together.
Yeah, coming from you, right? And then I thought one of the most impressive performances over the weekend, Kansas City, it's like we forgot about them. Arizona's in they've got some issues now with Murray and that offense and that defense. They give up 44 to Kansas City, 30-39, 366, 5 touchdowns. I feel like everyone forgot about Patrick Mahomes and Kansas City.
I mean, I think you're right. I think people did I think they did forget about Patrick Mahomes, especially since he lost Tyreek Hill to Miami. People said he wouldn't have that those kind of weapons, no downfield threat, but they came out and handled business easily.
Yeah.
It wasn't close in no phase of the game.
Yep.
Dominated special team had great field position all day long. Defense dominated and offense dominated. That's how you put together a good team win. And the Kansas City Chiefs did that. Patrick Mahomes, he hung in there. He led his team to a great win.
Steelers get the win in overtime, which was a kind of a goofy game. We talked a little bit about Tampa Bay and Dallas, the Chargers over the Raiders. Carr had a couple bad picks in that one. And then I thought the other big surprise, Minnesota, my Super Bowl team coming out of the NFC, all over Green Bay. Cousins had a solid game. Jefferson was an absolute beast, 184 for 2 touchdowns. I want to talk a little bit about Aaron Rodgers right now in Green Bay because obviously no Adams. He's with the Raiders. We saw what happens with that offense. They had to kick Christian Watkins wide open. He makes that drop. You and I were talking a little bit about Aaron Rodgers. This is me, man. The body language, when you go out and you publicly rip, and this is now the second or third time he's talked about these young wide receivers, I just get the sense it's not going to bode well for Green Bay this season. And it wouldn't shock me with the drama that he just puts his hands in the air and he says, you know what, after this year, that's it, man, I'm done. He doesn't strike me as a guy that has the patience to want to work with young receivers. Am I off here?
I think you're dead on. I think if he has to do any kind of real work, I think he'll be discouraged. I think he gives up. By all means, I think Aaron Rodgers is a Hall of Fame quarterback. He's a great quarterback. He just didn't look enthusiastic about the game, about being out there. Having an opportunity to get out and go 1-0 is always good, and you build from there, obviously. But I mean, they didn't look that great doing what they did, and I mean, it looked like his arm was kind of fell apart, kind of throwing the ball in the dirt a lot. But just to say, Green Bay, I think they had over 400 yards of total offense in the game, and I think Aaron Rodgers 22 for 34 with 195 with 64%. Had 111 on the ground. So I mean, I think it's definitely room for improvement there, and I think the Packers, I think they can make those improvements, but I think Aaron Rodgers got to get it together and continue to lead his team like he's been doing in the past. He realized he don't have that big time threat. Yep. Adams went over to the Raiders, and I think he's still trying to come back from that loss.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, for as great as he is, he's had a lot of bad playoff losses and a lot of NFC Championship losses. I mean, you go back a couple of years ago, the coach takes the ball out of his hands. I mean, that's not on him. That's on the head coach. You mentioned, the body language. I mean, if you're young players, the last thing you want to see is your veteran quarterback, your Hall of Fame quarterback, kind of giving you the snake eyes, man. Go out and make a play.
Yeah, go out, make a play, make it happen, and do what you've been doing. I don't think he tried to attempt a run at all in the game. He didn't give the defense nothing to think about. They sitting here dropping, 5 guys.
Yeah.
And they didn't get, there really wasn't a threat. But like I said, I think 400 total yards is still pretty good in the NFL on any Sunday, Thursday, or Monday.
It's enough to win a game.
It's good. Yeah, absolutely. It's good to win the game. So, I mean, I just think Aaron Rodgers got to find himself and get used to not having Adams and try to make one of these other wide receivers have around him step up and make big plays every week.
And then we cap it off last night with a friggin' debacle, man. So, first of all, I mean, hey, good for Geno Smith. All right. And I know we're going to differ here. How do you boo Russell Wilson, man? Come on.
Well, I mean, Rich, Russell Wilson, I'm not exactly sure what went on in the whole Seattle debacle with him, right? But I thought he asked for out.
No. No one's saying it, but 42, 51, 48, 47, 33 sacks in 14 games last year. They never put any money in that line to help this guy out. I would be pissed off and say, the hell with this too. He's a Hall of Fame quarterback. He's the face of the Seattle Seahawks, was the face of the Seattle Seahawks, should have won 2 Super Bowls. I mean, I don't know, man. And I get it. It almost comes off like that scorned, sour, girlfriend or boyfriend or whatever it is. But he might have woken up this morning, B had said to himself, forget about getting friggin' booed. I got to worry about my coach taking the ball out of my hands on a 4th and 5. $247 million quarterback.
I mean, 4th and 5 of what they had? What time on the clock?
I pulled everything up for you. I'm glad you asked. They had a 1st and 10 at the Denver 49 with a $1.24. They had a penalty. Then all of a sudden it pushes them back, 9-yard gain with 1:11 to go. They let the clock go all the way down to 20 seconds to call the timeout for the 64-yard field goal attempt.
Actually, that's enough time to still get in good field goal range. He panicked. Coach panicked. I mean, Nathaniel. I mean, really, like he panicked and he kicked a 64-yard field. He attempted a 64-yard a field goal. I would have taken my chances trying to get the 5 yards and trying to get, you had at least 2 plays you could have ran and to try to get in decent field goal range. And I think they get that 5 yards because they were pretty good on converting, especially on 3rd down the whole game. I thought they did pretty good. And still, after all of that stuff, they turned over the ball in the red zone.
Thank you.
2 times. That's 14 points that they could have had. Correct. And they still had opportunity to come back and win a football game. So, why are you got to give them credit.
Why are you going shotgun, though, in those situations, man? Why are you going shotgun?
Because that is today's football. Q, that's just what they do. That's today's football. That's what it's come to. That's why the running back is less important to football. You want to come out and shotgun, and you want to give the man the ball 5.5 yards in the backfield. I'd rather dot that out of 7.5 and hand it off to him at 4 yards and let him work on, down there like that. But, it's the hand, the running back got to see it in, and there's a lot of different operations that go with it. But turning the ball over on a Monday night in a big game, it's just unacceptable, and you can't do that.
$242 million and not give him the rock. And what makes it worse is the coach comes out today after the fact in hindsight. We probably shouldn't have done it. Come on, man. You're waffling. If I'm a player, I would rather you die on the mountaintop screaming. Like Daboll said, look, we didn't get it. We didn't get it. I'm not going to regret that decision, right? But, as you said, Nathaniel is walking back the decision. If I'm a player, I'm like, oh, man, come on.
He did. He actually said, I think the words, I wish I would have trusted and went for the 5 yards versus doing what I did and kicking the field goal. I wish I could have that back. Well, guess what, Nathaniel? You can't get it back. It's gone. Move on to next week.
Yeah. Tomorrow we'll get into week 2, Thursday night football as well. All right. You mentioned a big weekend we just saw in college football, and man, I'll tell you, upsets galore, right? I want to get your thoughts on a couple things. So you got what's going on in Notre Dame right now with Marcus Freeman. They just lost their quarterback. Who's going to have shoulder surgery. He'll be gone for 4 months. I think Drew Pine's going to be the starter. They just lost Notre Dame to Marshall 26-21. They're 0-2. Freeman's the first head coach in Irish history because he lost a bowl game. Start 0-3. I mean, Brian Kelly is not walking through that door, right? Charlie Weiss is not. I mean, you can go on, and I don't know. I mean, how hot is the seat getting there with the Fighting Irish?
I'm not sure how hot it is for him, but I do know that Notre Dame has not started 0-2 since 2011 now, and that was under Brian Kelly. They ended up going 8-5 that season. I'm not sure how many opportunities he's going to get because that's a pretty high-profile job to have and to go and lose, especially lose to Marshall. That's something that alumni and the AD won't accept.
So let me play devil's advocate quickly. First-year head coach is 36 years of age. You give him a little bit of wiggle room here?
I think you give him a little bit of wiggle room. I think you take him through this season and into next season and see what you can do. You give him a couple of years to get his own guys in there. Some of the guys that you may go out and recruit and what he think Notre Dame need to be successful for his system he's running. I think you give him this year and you give him next year, first few weeks of next year, and you make a decision.
They got Cal coming up, who's 2-0, and then conversely, the other big story. And you said something that resonated with me, right? When you talk about recruiting, the whole thing with Nebraska and Scott Frost, right? It was all about being that guy, right? Being that guy. Well, seriously, I mean, think about it, right? In demand. That's who they wanted. The credibility, the prodigal son, the native son. He comes back. He wins a title as a quarterback, right? Had the great run at UCF for 2 years and all about the culture, the boosters, and boom. And then you lose 45-42 to Georgia Southern. Now, I can equate it to Harbaugh, but there's a big difference. Harbaugh, when he's come back to Michigan, at least he's had a moderate of success. It just never panned out with Frost.
Well, Frost's overall record, he's under 500. Okay, he's 35-38 as a head coach. He's had some good teams, and to mind you, to still be like below 500 after going undefeated with UCF, that's 13 games right there. So take that season away, the self-proclaimed national champions. His record is really worse than what it is. I mean, he's been, he's played. He's from Lincoln.
He's their guy. He's their son.
He's their guy, right? He is their guy. I'm not sure outside of UCF, he's actually had a good stay as a head coach.
But the problem now is recruiting, right? Because they've lost all credibility.
They lost all credibility. No top kid is going to want to go to Nebraska.
Correct.
No top kid. I know one kid there, former. He's there. Kid right here from Atlanta. No top kid is going to want to go there. I mean, they got facilities. They got a big stadium. They got beautiful uniforms. But if you're going to go and lose to a mid-major group of 5 school in Marshall, then no one is really going to want to try to, come over to Notre Dame, Nebraska.
Yeah,
but,
right.
I mean, I'm just not sure what they do. They got the interim coach in. He'll have his opportunity to just trying to reel the team back throughout the season and just go from there. I think it's going to be very interesting to see what happened with Nebraska and Notre Dame as the season go forward.
27 in Q alongside the 2-time Super Bowl champ from the New York Football Giants, running back number 27, Brandon Jacobs. I'm Rich Quinones. All right, good stuff on the NFL, college football. The other big news of the day comes down in the association, the NBA. And man, what a friggin' story coming out of Phoenix now with their owner, Robert Sarver, who was hit with a $10 million fine, a 1-year suspension that due to conduct that violated a plethora of things. It was basically a league investigation, so to speak. The NBA, the committee investigated, and you go through this, right? I mean, it's unbelievable. Used the N-word at least 5 times when it was going back with documented statements, instances of inequitable conduct towards female employees, sex-related comments. So the Phoenix Suns are worth $1.8 billion. I understand the max fine is $10 million. Okay, fine, whatever. This is me. The NBA, the last time I checked, is about 75% Black players, right? Monty Williams, head coach. James Jones, the GM, last time I checked, African-American, Black players. Chris Paul, one of the leaders and the faces of the franchise in the NBA. So the comments, everything that's transpired with this guy, disgrace, despicable. You're basically saying, go away for a year. The franchise is worth $1.8 billion. We're going to hit you a little fine, little pocket change, $100 to you, right? And then you're going to be able to come back and you're still going to profit and make money. I'm sorry. This is worse than Sterling with the Clippers. And I don't know how you just sit there and say, no, man, you're selling this. You're done in the NBA. You're done. What's your thoughts on this?
Well, I agree with you. I think they should force him to sell the franchise to someone else with a little bit more sense than what he has. But if that was a player, with those kind of accusations, they'll never get a chance to bounce a ball in the NBA ever again. And that's just the way it is. They slap him on the wrist with a $10 million fine. And that's all they get. Like I said, if it was a player, making those kind of comments toward a female on the job, they'll be banned from the league forever. Cut.
You think they would be not to cut you off? You think they would be? We've seen. I mean, look at the NFL. Guys have gotten second chances. I guess my point is the owner, he's only, first of all, it's crap. It's BS. He's sorry because this is what the findings were.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, you have to force the league's hand. And Adam Silver, just like Goodell, they work for the owners, right? But I still would force his hand. And I don't wholeheartedly agree with you on the players. I mean, we've listen, you know, we've seen sometimes it worse and players have gotten other shots. But I guess my problem is we always say, hold them accountable, hold them accountable. So you're going to hit them with a fine, which is really nothing at the end of the day. And you're going to tell him to go away for a year. And then he's eventually going to be able to come back. He still thinks like that. That's the problem. Here's
he's still the same guy at heart.
That's my point.
Yeah, absolutely. That's in his heart. Anybody who used that word, derogatorily, like he probably did. That's in their heart. It's been like that since he came out of the womb, and he didn't learn it. I mean,
but let me. No. Continue. Right.
It's it's stuff that he was raised that way. It's just people that do that like that's what it is. I don't know how he used it. I don't know if it was sarcasm, but either way, Rich, that word doesn't come out of your mouth.
Yeah,
that word doesn't come out of your mouth. I'm trying to get other African Americans to stop using the word as we speak, but that word should never be used by anyone. To be honest with you.
He made illicit comments about genitalia to a female employee. Pull down the shorts of a male employee in front of a group of team. I'm sorry, man. You do that to me, you're getting knocked out.
You're getting slept. You're getting slept.
Asked a female employee why passing her in the hallway, did you got an upgrade this summer? Obviously referring probably to her chest area. Like,
yeah, I mean, that's stuff you don't do. I mean, that's stuff you don't do. That one thing for sure you don't do. You don't make any kind of I guess sexy or sexual accusations toward any woman in the workplace. I mean, I don't know what the guy's thinking. Being a guy of power like he is, maybe he thought he was untouchable, and he'd get away with it. But man, newsflash.
You hear this story? You hear this story though? As a guy that played in the NFL for a long time at a high level, that won championships, you hear a story like this, what's your first reaction?
I don't even know. I mean, I don't like for me to hear it. I mean, the first thing I think about, let's go back to the whole situation with the N-word. I think about guys like Chris Paul. I think about guys like Booker. I think about guys like that who has been beat down with that word for years. The culture has been destroyed with that word for years. So I'm thinking about those guys. Like, how do those guys handle it? What do they do? Because obviously, still a $10 million fine. The Phoenix Suns is going to make way more than $10 million this season, right? And he's going to use those same guys out there who despise that word to do something.
Yeah, I don't know. Like you said, I mean, and I've been around in locker rooms. Obviously, you've been around in locker rooms, and I would assume if younger players ever starting to sprout out like that, you probably pull them to the side. I mean, and rightfully so, right? Because the perception, the optics, but it's just if you're thinking like that, that's how you are. That's just my opinion. That's just how you are. So my God, I'm just wondering what his other circle might be thinking at the end of the day. And you got these players now, these African-American players on the Suns. I mean, if I'm a free agent, I'm thinking to myself, we talk culture, did we not? Right? We talked about it last week. The Giants fix the culture. And it's not good, not good. All right. Got to start wrapping it up, man. Time flies by. 27 seconds with number 27. Look, he's got the game. See, you wore you wore like the Seattle colors last night, and then I'm cleaned up a little bit, and you think I should be chauffeuring around people.
Hey, listen. Speaking of Seattle, all right, let's Geno Smith.
Yes,
he's been a journeyman. He's been on teams. He's been in the league forever. He's been on all bad teams. I don't think not one time he's been, even as a backup on a winning team. I don't think Seattle was. I mean, I think
No, I
a couple
bounced around the
times
Jets, the Giants, bounced
the
around.
Jets, Giants. I mean, he's never been. And to see Geno Smith and the Seahawks pull in that win last night made me feel good. Made me feel really good to see him happy and smiling as a guy who's been put through shit his whole basically career. So to see him get a win, I was excited to be able to see that.
Yeah, no, listen, it's a fair point, and they think that might have something with him. See how it progresses. And I love his comments afterwards, right? I mean, they wrote you off. I'm not writing them back. Hey, have a little fight, right? Have a little gumption, have a little feistiness.
Yeah,
Nothing wrong with
absolutely.
that. All right, as we set our imaginary clock, 27 seconds with number 27, rapid questions. Biggest concern right now, would you be more concerned if you're a Cardinals fan or a Rams fan?
I'd be more concerned if I was a Rams fan.
Why is that?
Because they went and got their asses 100% annihilated on Thursday night with the Super Bowl champions open up. They got destroyed by a good Buffalo team. I think the way no defense was played, had penalties. It just didn't look like it was a NFL team.
After watching the 49ers, Jimmy G starts by week 5, true or false?
That's false. He will not start by week 5. They're going to give Lance a long, they're going to give him a longer opportunity than just 5 weeks.
Has the league started to figure out Derrick Henry?
Yes, the league. I think the league has started to figure out Derrick Henry a little bit. But even though you figure him out, you still got to go mano a mano with a big, tough, strong running back like Derrick Henry. And at some point, as the season goes on, he's going to wear on teams, and he's going to continue to be successful.
Better character on the wire, Bubbles, Cousins, or Omar?
Ooh.
You can always rely for me to give you one that stumps you. Who you
going? Yeah, you know it. You know it too. You gave it to me, but I'm gonna go with Omar.
Okay, hey, come at the king. You better not miss. We're gonna talk about this tomorrow. GGG Canelo, buzz or no buzz?
I think it could be a lot of buzz going around about that fight. I think it's a fight that I think they had 2 fights already, right?
Yep, trilogy.
2 fights already. One you can arguably say Triple G won, and one Canelo definitely won. All right, so I think it'll be good. It's some good buzz going around that one.
We'll talk a little bit about it a little more manana. All right, Georgia covers the 24 against South Carolina this week.
Georgia covers the 24 against South Carolina this week easy.
Does Auburn get the upset over Penn State? They're 3-point dogs.
Auburn University gets an upset over Penn State on the Plains. I will be in the building. I can't wait to see it. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to being around the atmosphere. Electric, War Eagle.
After week 1, are you a believer? I know the answer to this. In number 26.
After week 1 of his first game, his rookie year, I was a believer in number 26. Going to always continue to be a believer in number 26. I hope 26 have one hell of a year and show everybody he's back.
Yeah, he played really well. 18, 164, 1 touchdown. When Daboll said go for 2 and you're watching the game, what was your reaction? What came out of your mouth?
Jumped up off the counter and said, hell yeah, coach. That's what you're supposed to do. You win it and you lose it all in the same time. You're going to be great. The guy's going to support you. Go for it. You going for a win. That's something no Giant coach in the last 3 or 4 years have ever been that aggressive. So I like the aggressive thoughts, and I love where we are right now.
Yeah, listen, you got to go back 2016. They were on a road against Dallas, and that was friggin' McAdoo and his friggin' oversized Denny's menu of a play sheet. McAdoo no balls, Shermer clueless, Judge just tried to double down and be a goofy bully, and then you got the guy Daboll comes in here and let's go, man, let's get going. I mean, that's.
I think the difference with Daboll, with all the rest of those guys, and what I've gotten from him when I've met him and seen the way he operates, he does not mind taking advice from others as a head coach.
Great point.
He is not a stubborn guy. He's going to ask you questions. He's going to see whatever he can do to make that football team play and get them to believe. I love that boy, and I can't wait till the season continue to go and to show you, Rich, and everybody else on Twitter who don't believe that this can happen, that the New York Football Giants is going to win the NFC East and they're going to have a 12-game win this year, and I can't wait to see it happen. I said it right here on 27 and Q. And you're gonna believe it. We're gonna make you guys believe it.
He's popping and endorsing his own show. Don't forget, follow Brandon on Twitter at BrandonJacobs27. IG a little different, nyg.td.record27. He just couldn't make it simple. Whereas for me, it's across the board. Rich Q on Q. All right, so we got some boxing tomorrow. We'll get into week 2 in the NFL, Thursday night football. And we'll see what the folks have to say on Facebook and Twitter. We'll start to get their thoughts on some stuff. But as always, we appreciate everyone keeping us locked in. B, great stuff, my man.
Yes, sir. Q, listen, I can't wait till tomorrow.
I don't know, what color shirt should I wear tomorrow?
I don't know, man. Like I said, you got the limousine looking right now. Let's come on, no white beater, man.
No.
Come on, no beater.
No, we're not. No, listen, when when I get a little more cut, then all of a sudden, no, we don't pull that, man. Come on now, clean it up.
I don't know what you're.
That's like you sitting down. That's like you sitting down with a, you come on tomorrow with your helmet on.
Shit, I might do that.
Oh man, hurry up! I got a minute 30 here before we shut it down.
Let's go, Big Blue!
I can't with you right now. I can't.
That thing's tight. Whoa.
Yeah.
Forgot I'm 40.
Oh man, you're too much. All right, brother. I will talk to you tomorrow, man. Always appreciate you. Appreciate everyone keeping us locked in on another edition of 27 and Q.